Life isn't perfect, and neither are we.
Nope. But we know how to face our fears.
And have some fun.
And talk about all the messiest things of life.
Like the messiest things.
Get connected to yourself, get connected to others, and get connected to the life right in front of you.
This is The Connected Life with Justin and Abi.
That's me.
That's you.
And you.
Dun-dun, dun-dun,
Wait, did we start?
dun-dun, dun-dun,
What are you doing?
dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. What am I? I'm a shark. That was my impersonation of a shark. Oh my gosh. How, of course, you didn't know. How did you not know what I was?
You didn't have a fin.
It is a universal noise for a shark. And in fact,
sharks.
I am a little flabbergasted when I hear stories of people like, oh, and then I lost my leg to a shark or my arm to a shark. I'm like, you had fair warning. Have you ever watched Jaws? It was like 2-minute buildup. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, that shark was just screaming for everybody.
But sharks are faster than humans, so they could just like...
Yeah, but with that much noise, like I was watching that movie called Dolphin's Tale or something about the surfer who lost the arm.
It is Dolphin's Tale?
No, I'm pretty sure. Wasn't that it? Wasn't that the surfer who lost her arm?
No,
and then she bonded with a dolphin who lost its tail, and they both like...
I don't even know what movie you're mashing up together.
I don't know. But the surfer, she did lose her arm.
The shark bit her arm off.
Yeah, which I didn't have any compassion for that.
Why?
I was like, how did you not hear it coming?
How did you not hear the noise? Dun.
There doesn't need to be one case of arm loss in the entire world if people would pay attention.
But sharks can swim faster than humans, so if you hear it coming, you may not be able to get out of the way.
Don't you think it's absurd, though, that's...
It's not called the dolphin's tail.
Okay, so that's what you find absurd?
It's about surfing. Yeah. That's what I found absurd about that.
I don't know.
A surfer's tail. She doesn't have a tail.
Oh, that would suck. But
what were you going to say is astonishing?
I don't know. I'm just having fun. I think life is supposed to be fun.
Oh, I've never noticed that that's one of your core values before.
I get bored of seriousness.
I know. And if you think that I'm in a serious mood, you must throw fun into the mix.
I'm always trying to throw fun in the mix. I know that it's like you'll be sitting hanging
Sometimes
out.
I'm not even like serious. Like this morning, I just wasn't awake yet. And you're like, look at me. And then you were dancing all naked, like in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's not a
It got
real
your
thing.
attention,
You weren't
though,
naked.
didn't it?
No.
Well, I was half naked.
You were fully
You
clothed.
wish I was naked.
You wished you were, but you were dancing.
I wished I was.
It's a constant like, Abby, come be fun
I could be
with
naked
me.
now.
That's why I think that you are like having a kid, because anytime that I get too focused on anything, you're like, look at me, give me attention.
I think that I spent... Okay, my mom... I don't know if you know this.
I bet I do. I've been married to you a long time.
Well, did my mom ever tell you I used to joke so much as a kid that it would get her laughing so hard that she almost cried? Or not that she almost cried.
Pee your pants.
She'd almost pee her pants.
Yeah, I know everything about
No.
you.
No.
Yes.
This marriage is boring. We know too much about each other. I'm done. There's no fun left in this marriage. That's the number one thing that people talk about in marriage that they lose.
That's not the number one thing.
It's one of them.
They lose sex before they lose fun.
It might be both. It's like they talk about they don't have any more sex or passion or fun in the marriage.
Yeah, there's lots of loss of fun. You know, fun is like a superpower.
It is like a superpower. Very few people have it.
Yeah, some people have too much of it though.
No. I don't.
I don't.
I don't know.
Yes, there are people that have fun and they use fun as a coping skill to avoid their life.
That's true.
That's
do.
What I'm saying.
They're all over the place, wild and carefree, but they're wild and carefree.
Living on adrenaline all the time, avoiding real emotions, avoiding actual intimacy.
Right.
So we're not talking about that kind of
I
person.
do remember like getting in trouble in when I was a kid from people and them being like, quit goofing around. You need to be serious about something. But there was a whole part of my life that was so serious. And even as an adult, I've had to be so serious, so to say, inside my office.
Yeah, like when you're listening to somebody's problem, you can't be like, wah, your life sucks.
Well, actually, I have done that. Like part of what I even do in my office is
true.
I
You
make jokes about really dark situations, but they laugh because they're like, "Oh, I needed a breather." And that's part of what we're talking about today is fun.
Yeah.
And facilitating fun inside of our lives.
It's actually really important because fun is joy, and joy really gives us strength. I kind of think of it as like gasoline that helps your car life go farther.
Wow.
That's not a thing. That's not a sentence.
That's a
no, like gasoline, or like it's hope, it's fuel. That's what I'm trying to say. It's fuel.
Oh, it's fuel on your fire.
Yes.
Yeah, burn the house down, kids.
No, fun like changes everything. Even in marriage, I remember when I was growing up, so when I grew up, when I was a little kid, super playful.
Wait, hold on, back up a second. When I did my other podcast, one of the funniest complaints that I used to get was like, if I did, it wasn't tons, but if I got a complaint, it was like, you guys are busy having too much fun just screwing around on there. Why don't you just get to the serious stuff?
No, that's real.
That's real. That happened a lot.
People have told me that before.
And I was like, oh.
You don't understand, this is purposeful.
Yeah, this is purposeful because actually everyone's so serious and these are heavy topics that we tackle. And in order to actually walk through a lot of the heaviness in life, we have to be able to have a partnership with fun.
And here's the truth. If you and Blair weren't fun and witty on the Liberation Project, nobody would have wanted to listen because it would have been like,
well,
I'm going to go have open
those
heart
sultry,
surgery.
sexy voices and they just want to hear that. Right?
It's true. You have a great voice.
The
first time Pizzi heard your voice, she was like, wow, he has a man voice.
Yeah, he has a hot man voice.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have wanted to go deep into a lot of those things.
Well, I'm saying like if you do
ugh.
deep every week, then you actually get tired of that. And so you'd start to emotionally avoid it if you were tired. And fun like brings a lot of life. It brings hope back.
It totally does.
It lifts your spirits. It's such an important thing. And can I tell my story now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead. I'll interrupt it. Don't worry.
Okay. Good. So when I was growing up, my mom was really fun. Like she had a great sense of humor,
which is evident even as she's losing her mind at this point in her.
Oh, she's hysterical.
Oh, she is so funny. I'm dying laughing. Even though she'll repeat herself like 10,000 times in a car ride somewhere.
Yeah.
Every time it still tickles my belly because there's a funness to her.
And you can joke with her, and she.
Oh yeah, I literally get this. We'll be going somewhere, and I'll be taking her to an appointment, and then I'll get out of the car, and I'll be like, Susie, do not run away. I don't need to have to call all the cops. And then she makes just the most giggly, funny remark back.
Totally.
About her being too slow or there not being enough cops to catch her or something like that. And it's just so fun.
Oh, yeah. She is hysterical. And you can like kind of poke at her and she loves it. Like she just giggles and giggles and giggles like... And she's like a little bit, she's real inappropriate now, which I find hysterical.
I love it.
Because growing up,
sexual
she's very
innuendos
proper.
She makes about my butt and stuff.
Oh, all the time she's talking about Justin's butt. You have such a great butt, Abby. And then like now, because Justin now is bald, he wasn't when we first got married, but now she's like, I just love bald men. Yeah. They're so attractive. I'm like, you can't have my husband.
Yeah. She makes the most mischievous like smiles and stuff too. After it.
A smile and a wink. And what was the story about when you were in court and what you told her happened?
Which one?
Remember we took her to court and
I don't know this story.
She asked like if she responded okay to the judge.
I have no idea what I said. I say so many things. In fact, it's so funny because recently we had a birthday and I say such absurd things that are just so funny true. And over the top.
You say such absurd things.
Part of my birthday party experience was them collecting a bunch of text messages and things that I said throughout like the weeks approaching my birthday. And they were like, was it on the internet or did Justin say it? And half the time I didn't even know if I said it was on the internet. But
no,
I was dying laughing half the time.
Such absurd things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyways, as a kid,
I grew up, my mom was super playful. Like I remember me and Pizzi at night, she would come tell us pretend stories and she would tell us this story about like all the animals in the forest and it like builds up to this great climax, where there's like so much tension in the story. And then the solution that fixes everything is Beano.
Beano?
Yeah. Do you remember Beano?
No, I don't know what Beano is. Was he a hunter?
No, Beano is...
That came and destroyed all the animals?
Beano are these liquid drops that you take so you fart less. And that was literally... My mom did a whole entire story that led up to, Beano saved the day.
Beano saved the day.
And then she'd talk about farting, and then once she started laughing, she'd giggle and giggle and giggle and giggle and giggle and giggle. Yeah. And we would giggle and giggle.
You know, it's interesting. As kids, one of the number one emotions that young kids feel is embarrassment over their parents being playful.
Yeah, at a certain age.
At a certain age, they cross that line and they're like, "Oh, stop acting like that."
Totally.
No, and we're going to talk about what causes a lot of that stuff. But so you grew up with that fun. What happened with you?
Yeah, then it all died. The fun died.
Yeah, because we talked before about you being an ice queen.
Yeah, the fun died, and I became incredibly depressed and had lots of anxiety. And I actually think the fun died because I got so self-conscious. I had so much self-hatred, so much shame that I really didn't want anyone to see or notice anything about me. I had so much self-criticism that it was like, I can't handle someone else criticizing something about me because my criticism bucket's already full.
I'm already criticizing myself so much.
If you add to it, I'm going to die.
Just break down.
And so I just kind of shut off anything that I could do that would be playful because I just didn't want to give anyone ammunition to make fun of me.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of shut it down. And I went through a lot of depression. There was, I always say that the hormone imbalance I have mimics mental illness. So there was crazy depression and anxiety. And so those things were going on too. But it created, I mean, there was a couple of years when I remember like I couldn't remember how to laugh. Like I would watch people laugh and I would think, how do they do that? Like, what is that like to just like be present in life enough? Because I was so disconnected from life. Yeah. I was so disconnected because I was in my own head. I was stuck in my own head. And because I was in my own head, I couldn't be present enough to even enjoy laughing. So that was like a low point for me. And I went on the journey of healing. I've been on the journey of healing for a long time. And so I remember the people I met, I grew up with a family that was incredible. They're awesome. And they have changed my life more than anything. I owe them so much. Like I think I married a good man because they had good men. Pizzi, it's her family and they have 5 brothers and they have amazing parents. Wait a second.
Soul Surfer. I think that's the name of that movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One part of having fun is ADD.
Totally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The squirrels in life.
I grew up with this amazing family, but they were like a sarcastic family. Yeah. So they would make fun of you. That was fun for them probably. Yeah. But I didn't grow up with skin like that. I wasn't used to that. Tough skin. So yeah.
Thick skin.
So because I had so much self-criticism, I don't think they had as much self-criticism, so it didn't matter to them as much. Right. But it cemented that I wouldn't be anything but wallflowery.
Oh, a little wallflower.
A little wallflower. So I ended up moving and I met these friends in LA and they were just the safest friends I'd ever had. They never made fun of you. They they really loved me. They believed in me. And
you're talking about Elias, aren't you?
Elias and Andrea, yeah.
Yeah. Elias was out of his mind. He was hysterical.
Oh, he's hysterical. He's so funny.
Yeah.
But they were so kind and loving that it gave me permission. And I actually probably around 20 went on a journey of like starting over, like being a little kid again, because I'd missed being a kid as a kid. Like I grew up really fast. And so at 20, I think I started going on the journey of relearning how to be a kid and how to have wonder. And so that started it. So actually, even though you think that I was an ice queen when I met you, I was warmed up.
Ooh, you were, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I do. Yeah. There was playfulness. Yeah. There was some playfulness about you. Yeah. I saw playfulness, but I remember for me in my own life, I was super playful in my house, but when it came to getting outside the house, I too was pretty shut down because I was really scared of being rejected or being made fun of. I was already getting made fun of in different ways. And so there was something about who I really was that didn't get permission to really shine.
Yeah.
And it was later on in my mid to late 20s where I started the process of just being okay with who I was and being wild and carefree. But I mean, like for me, fun was, I was always up to something. I remember in my early 20s, yes, I ended up on it. Do you remember the singer Joss Stone?
Yeah.
So me and my friends dressed up in these crazy outfits like crazy out of our mind, big wigs and all kinds of stuff like that. And went down to 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica for no reason whatsoever except to just screw around. And we ended up on the set of a Joss Stone
music video
that was playing on the beach, and we were walking around in the background, and we got
that's funny.
Yeah, the security didn't like us. They made us go away.
Yeah, that's probably true. You're probably distracted.
but it was stuff like that where we didn't really care. We wanted to just go experience life. I think that was the beauty of even doing film school, is there was an invitation back to imagination.
Yeah.
And I think part of fun inside of the human experience is extinguished because we're told to grow up.
Totally.
That you need to grow up, and there's this version of what it is to be an adult.
Yeah.
And be grown up. And when you're not acting growing up, that feels very shaming. Shameful.
Well, and some people think it's shallow or childlike. And the truth is, some people that are fun are actually stuck in like a kid version of themselves.
Oh, yeah. They're still 15 at heart in not even the healthy way.
Yeah. Because I'm going to say...
It's called arrested development.
Totally. Yeah. Like, because you're actually 15 at heart all the time. Like, you still make junior high jokes.
Sure.
But you
I've
have
embraced
maturity with that. So it never feels like this frustrating thing.
Feels like a balance.
It's a balance.
It's not, I'm stuck there. I choose to operate out of a healthy
I choose to make idiotic jokes. I'm not arrested there. I just like it there.
I like to visit it.
Yeah, totally. So then we met, and I thought you were so awkward.
Yeah, I purposely would make
so
awkward
awkward.
jokes deliberately.
You made so many awkward jokes.
I loved watching people feel awkward.
And I literally didn't know what to do. I was like, oh, do I smile? This isn't funny to me. I don't know. What is he doing?
I loved watching people not know what to do and be like, oh, this isn't socially okay.
I know.
How
And then
should
you became
act?
friends with Blair, whose professional way to greet people is be as awkward as possible. Yes. It was like a joy of your heart.
He eventually became the president of Korea.
Oh.
And I met him when he was in the process of the elections.
Yeah.
And we sat down and talked with him. And when I went to meet him, the person that worked for him, I finger gunned him and went pew 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 pew. And my boss was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm lightening this situation up." And they laughed. They were like, "I don't know what's happening, but this is
They
hysterical."
were like, "I don't know what to do." They were awkward like me. They just were better giving courtesy laughs. That's one thing I'll say that I don't do anymore. Like when people say things that aren't funny, I don't laugh.
You don't give them courtesy laughs?
Yeah. I'm over it. I'm 30 plus some years. I don't want to use energy.
I don't give courtesy laughs, but I'll delight in someone delighting. Even if it's not my sense of humor, I'm delighted in them being delighted.
Yeah. I like to laugh when people laugh at themselves. That's the best. Okay. So we meet and you are awkward but playful. And I would say that, so both of us always had that side in us.
Yeah.
But I think our relationship exponentially grew that.
Well, I think that this is the keys that actually helped facilitate that was the acceptance of one another. You know, there was so much, I mean, yeah, we had judgments and criticisms of one another. It's like we're human. But there was an overarching, I accept you and I choose you and I like who you are. I enjoy who you are. I want to experience more of who you authentically are.
Well, and to be honest, you were such a dork. Like you you led with so much dorkiness that I was
Thanks.
I was like, well, I can be a dork. He's not going to make fun of anything I do because he's doing the most ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to make fun of me. And you were never sarcastic. You don't use humor as a passive aggressive thing.
Right. I'm not cutting with it. Like if I have sarcasm, it's not sarcasm that's trying to make a point.
You normally have sarcasm. This is how I found it. You have absurd sarcasm.
Right.
So you'll say something if like there's no way it's true. So if you're like, Abby, you belong in the kitchen. There's no part of you.
Right. No part of me believes that
true.
as a woman, that's your role to be in the kitchen. So I would make some extreme joke like that. And we giggle about it. And you'd make some extreme joke back towards me.
I mean, I had to learn that.
Learned
I had
it.
to ask you lots of questions. Because in the beginning, I was like, why is this funny to you?
Yeah.
Do you mean any of this? Is any of this real? We had to actually communicate about it.
I am from a masculine generation that was raised on Family Guy and South Park.
Oh, totally.
You know, American Dad, things like that.
And once you forced me to watch some of those shows, I understood a little bit more.
You're like, I don't like it, but I understand.
But I get
you.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it now. And so you were so dorky that I was like, I guess I just have permission to be a complete insane person around you.
Yeah. And I think that we lose permission early on in life, again, because of bullying and because of bad experiences where
trying to look cool.
Yeah. The turtle tried to poke its head out and it didn't work well. So it went back in its shell and it just said, just show me what I should be so that you accept me.
Show me the rules.
Yeah.
To make people like me. And most of the time the rules are don't stick out, don't be weird, don't be awkward. And now I just find I actually think one of the things
it's kind of like the tall poppy syndrome that they have in like Australia.
Other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Like
where
don't stick out.
The tallest poppy is going to get cut off by the lawnmower basically. So don't stick your head up above the water.
Right. I'll say I think that one of the things that has brought the most fun in my life is this journey of embracing myself.
Yeah.
Because now I laugh at myself all the time because I'm ridiculous. But I just think it's ridiculously cute or quirky or funny or awkward. I do awkward stuff constantly.
Absolutely. You'll be on stage doing a speaking event. You'll say something and you'll just start laughing at yourself.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It'll be an awkward moment.
I'm dyslexic. I am a dyslexic. Okay, I'm dyslexic and I have ADHD.
Yeah.
And I'm a speaker. And so literally sometimes I'll be on stage. I'll have no idea what I'm even talking about. I have to ask the audience, or I'll say words backwards, or I'll make up words, or words just won't come out of my mouth right.
But
I'll slip on the stage and fall. That happened. I fell off a stage once.
Yeah, and you're like,
I was walking passionately and then ploop.
And you obviously don't care.
Well, I just laughed about it.
Yeah, but you've embraced that and everyone else follows suit.
Yes.
And one of the fears that we have as people is if we embrace the goofiness of life, the playfulness of life, we fear that people won't accept us.
Yeah.
But we've talked before about the idea that people will accept what we accept.
Yeah.
You know, we write the story, the rules to our life. And if the rule is that I'm acceptable for this, everyone goes, all right, I guess they're acceptable for it.
Yeah. It's kind of like you with your toy collecting.
Yeah, totally.
You don't have
action
shame
figure
about
collecting.
it. Yeah. You don't have shame about it.
They're not toys. They're fully posable action figures. They're collectibles.
Yeah.
Worth a lot of money.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. So you don't feel shame
but
about it.
I really don't care what anyone thinks, and they find it endearing about me.
Yeah, most people think oh, that's a cute hobby you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you had shame about it, I think people would be like, oh, that's weird that you do that.
My love for action figures, if you died tomorrow, I could still get lines of women around the block. Oh, it's so cute. He has action figures.
Oh, yeah. Look at it. Look at all these kids he has.
Uh-huh.
And they'll be like, have you been married before? Do you have any kids? Yes, I've been married before. I have about 10,000 children. Do you feel okay with that?
They're called my action figures. But the whole point is that we're really writing the story about what people feel about us.
Yeah. And this is what I think, to be connected to, you can't have fun without being connected to. Well, okay, that's not true. I think the most rich form of fun is when you're connected to yourself.
Yeah, I think you can have forms of fun without it. But to truly, like you said, the richness of it, the depth of it, to go, oh, I'm living a fun life.
Where you're having fun, but you're not using fun to avoid your pain or avoid connecting to yourself. Because some people, fun keeps them disconnected from themselves. And so I'm saying, I think there's this beautiful balance when you have fun in your life because you're connected to yourself.
Yeah, I hear from a lot of parents I heard phrases in the past quit screwing around, get serious. You're never going to make anything out of your life if you're always just goofing around. You're never going to become anything if you're always just playing around.
Yeah. And I have a theory about this.
Okay, I would love to hear this theory.
Well, I have a theory that one of the reasons we have kids, one of the reasons it's designed like this is so that as we're growing more serious,
older, in age.
Yeah. As you get older, you are, because...
And you get lost in all the fears.
Well, the thing is, as your brain gets older, now you understand consequences more and you understand life
friggin'
more.
Consequences.
Before that, when you're a kid, you don't understand this behavior will affect this thing. So when you're a little kid, you're like, if I buy a cheeseburger, that's not going to drain my bank account. You think I'm going to be able to get endless cheeseburgers when you're a little kid. But then when you're an adult, you're like, if I spend money on this, what am I going to do for retirement? Like you have thoughts come into your mind.
Right. You don't know how to live in the moment, where kids just live in the moment.
Yes. And so what I'm saying is I think kids come into our lives to propel us to stay childlike and wonder.
Right. It's an invitation to stay childlike.
And that's why we don't have kids, because I have you. I'm just kidding. I'm totally
Well,
kidding.
you're welcome. I think, excuse me. I think that fear and control plays such a massive role in our inability to have fun.
Yes.
And as we're kind of like getting into this, there are people who come to us and they're in our offices because they want to get something healed, but also they want to get to ultimately what we as humans want is a sense of joy and a sense of peace inside of our lives.
If you think about like what does living fully alive include, it never would go without joy.
Yep.
And fun.
Yep. And so a lot of people, their lives as they get older and they start thinking about the consequences and the painful experiences they've had in the past, it starts dictating how they're managing their life, and they really bond with fear and control.
And I think, so one of the things you're talking about is like, to be fun, you have to be able to be present.
Yep.
So if you're locked up living in regret from your past, or you're locked up living in fear of your future, you're missing the fun right here.
Totally.
Like fun is in the now.
Yeah. And part of that,
and that's one of the reasons it's beautiful. It pulls us to not live in either of those places.
And you talked about the fear of the future right there. Mm-hmm. Like I would say one of the number one things that people are living in is fear of the future.
Oh yeah.
Right. They're living in the fear
this
of
relationship won't work. Fear I won't ever have money. Fear
of some new president taking over the politics, the money that's going to be lost. They're thinking about their 401ks.
Oh, yeah.
So
and we're not saying that being wise stewards isn't valuable.
Sure.
But you can let fear actually take over and dominate the fun.
Fear's goal is to murder our joy, obliterate joy inside of our world.
Yeah.
And I think that part of that, when we have fear, we get into this drivenness of what we need to do with our life.
Yeah, it's like control. Like, oh, I need to get here. Or, I know so many people like, I need to get my career to this place. And they become so focused on the goal, which again means you're not being present because you're only focused on the goal.
Yep.
And so you can't have fun if your goal is to get to a destination.
Absolutely.
And for me, I've looked at like, okay, for the rest of my life, I'm going to have goals. Like I'm always going to have something that I'm running towards. So if I don't know how to have fun along the way, then I'm never going to have fun.
Right.
Because I think most people think when I get to the goal, then that's when I'll have fun.
Oh my gosh.
No, you spent 20 years being serious.
Well, I asked a question of myself and I asked a question of people. What's the point of your goal? Like what are you wanting to get out of that goal?
Yeah.
So the person's like, oh, this is my goal for my career. And I want to get here, here, and here. Why? For what?
And normally it's an emotional reason.
It's totally an emotional reason.
I want to feel powerful. I want to feel secure. I want to feel loved. I want to feel admired.
Mm-hmm. Ultimately, so I can feel happy.
Yeah.
I want to feel this sense of happiness and joy. And so whether we're trying to get that through our goals or our drug addictions or all the other stuff that we're doing, what if we were just facilitators of fun?
Yeah.
What if we learned
along the way?
We
can also have goals, but also
you can have goals,
yeah,
absolutely. But along the way, facilitating the fun so that I can actually have the happiness now, irregardless of how my goal ends. Because for me at this point in my life, I have some beautiful visions and goals of what I want to accomplish, but I've learned that I can be fully happy and joyful right here and now.
Yeah.
Because I've learned how to have fun and experience this relationship and what it is that I am building and what I am doing. I watched so many people that had ideas even in their careers in Hollywood of when I was living out in Hollywood of what they thought their career needed to look like.
Yeah.
Right. And they would be so frustrated about what they weren't doing. Like they would get booked at major clubs and those should be celebration moments, but they didn't celebrate.
Right.
They're like, yeah, but I'm not on the stage. Right. I'm not out playing in the stadium with U2 yet.
Right. And so your focus on the future can actually pull you out of celebration. Yep. I've been like that. I had a moment like that this year where we launched our first course, which was awesome. And we had more people than I ever imagined do it.
Yeah.
But I had so many things about like the next things that we needed to do.
I remember being so frustrated with you. about that.
Can you talk over there? What are you, like a mucus monster? Like,
No.
what's going on? It's like,
It was whatever I just ate, I'm allergic to, I think.
oh, that's probably true.
No, but I remember being really frustrated with you about that internally, because I'm like, oh my gosh, we just crossed a huge hurdle in our lives, and it was a monumental moment in what we've done, something miraculous. And you're over here being like, we need to do da 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 da.
And I can do that. I can get into really focused moments where I'm like so focused on what the goal is that I can forget to have fun.
Yeah. And I think that even in our role, I mean, the jobs that we do, we have one serious conversation after another about the hardest parts of people's lives. They aren't coming in like I do.
Let me tell you all my favorite memories.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the best stories.
I'm here to tell you how my life is so awesome.
It's so awesome.
Here's a bunch of money to tell you how awesome life is. There is nothing to fix.
Totally.
In fact, make me less happy, please.
Right. That's not what they say.
No, they say the worst case scenarios. And so there's actually had to be deliberateness on how we manage our lives, and we see the beauty inside of life and the fun inside of life. Yeah. Otherwise you get depressed.
I think fun is like glue, kind of.
Like glue.
Yeah, like glue in marriage.
I think
I remember when I was younger, when I was super serious and I was like really religious. So I was super focused about, that was my drivenness. My drivenness
were
was
you like,
in religion.
You can't do that and you can't say that and I need to do all these things.
Well, maybe, but I mean, like, I don't remember being like that towards other people as much as just being so driven. And so I had these mentors who were like, what do you want in a husband? And I was talking about it and they're like, is fun on that list? Like your ability to have fun with the person?
Yeah.
Never crossed my mind. Like, and when they said it, I thought it was dumb. I was like,
why would I need fun?
I need him to be religious too, and we'll be religious together and we'll take over the world. Like, and so, but the funny thing is they talked to me about how important fun was, and I didn't really get it. But now that I'm married, and now that we've done so much marriage consulting for people and dating even, I'm like, there has to be fun carries you through the hardships of life. Yep. And fun breaks disconnection walls. Fun is a lot of the ways that we mend fights. Yeah. We get playful.
Yeah, we
I
really
can't tell you how many times Justin has put on onion goggles and come in, or put on a ridiculous outfit. We're in the middle of a fight. And he's like, I've got to find a fun way to break this up, because fun creates connection. Yeah. And I think fun is a love language. And I think I need to rewrite the 5 love languages, and we need to add fun and food. The 2 F's. They're missing the 2 F's. Food is fun. Definitely a love language. Yeah. But so I think fun in marriage holds you together, because there's a lot of hard things you're going to have to go through. If you have a play partner, if you have somebody that you can have fun with, it's going to lift you up a lot. Yeah. A lot of times when I get people who are dating and they're like trying to figure out if they should like move towards marrying this person, one of the questions I ask a lot of them is, do you have fun with them? Right. And I talk about like, hey, most of the conversations that we have in here is about how horrible your relationship is. So I may have a skewed view. Right. Can you fill me in on where the fun is? Yes. And they're like, well, there's not a lot of fun, but I really like this person. I'm like, get out of it. If you can't figure out how to facilitate fun together and you guys can't tackle that, then you need to leave this. Unless there's like, I've seen this where it's not because they can't have fun together. It's because individually they don't know how to have fun. Correct. But I'm saying they have to learn how to facilitate it. If they're going to ask me like, is this a good idea to get married? I'm like, if you can't figure out how to facilitate fun together, then you need to get out of this, because it's like literally between you and I, we've had countless explosions and problems and navigated heart issues. And like you said, it was the fun that was the glue, where I'm like, yeah, but I have so much fun with you that it outweighs what feels really heavy. Like if we didn't have the fun, it would have just been heavy. It would have been super heavy, and we would have ended up in a divorce, I'm sure. Well, this is what I would say is, because some people out there are like, oh my gosh, we don't have fun. You can fix that. And I do want to say, this isn't about guy-girl relationships, because this is in all of your relationships. Right. Like, I started learning fun with a guy and a girl. It was just my friendships. It wasn't a romantic relationship, because the goal is, so now that I have learned how to not be self-conscious. I like myself more. I laugh at myself more. Like me and Pizzi have more fun than we ever had before. And I would say even when I was serious, me and her had fun.
Yeah.
But it was traumatic a little bit for me, fun.
Yeah.
But we still had fun. But after I became fun, now most of my friends are that way.
I don't think most people know what fun even is.
Yeah. So let's give a couple examples.
Like I asked a guy one time, I said, what do you do for fun? He goes, I go to work, because he had a business.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fun. He's like, oh yeah, that's fun to me. I was like, that could be an expression of something that we enjoy, but I don't think you know how to have fun, because the minute that work is taken away, he's like, I'm so bored. I don't know what the point of life is. This feels so pointless.
Right.
So he doesn't actually know how to like live in fun outside the context of one avenue, which is called his business.
Yeah. Okay. So I actually had to pursue fun and joy because I grew up, like I said, basically mentally ill with anxiety and depression that was debilitating. I had to learn to have fun. So I intentionally decided I'm going to pursue learning joy and becoming more joyful and learning fun and having more fun.
Yeah.
And so the first thing is I actually was intentional about it. I like prayed about it. I invited like joy into my life. I started listening to comedians because part of it was like, I need to watch stupid movies and I need to listen to comedians and I need to learn how to laugh.
Yeah.
Part of it was like getting over fear of what people think.
Oh, huge thing.
Because most of the time, that's why people won't be dorks. I think half of fun is just being dorky.
Yeah, dorky, nerdy. It's really being unhinged.
Unhinged?
Well, unhinged from social standards, the rules, the social etiquette.
Trying to be cool, trying to follow all the rules.
I remember like even when I would go to big Hollywood parties, there were some Hollywood parties that I would go into and everyone was trying to be so cool.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the big values for me is that I never tried to act cool whatsoever.
Doesn't surprise me.
And I would show up and I just didn't care and I'd do whatever.
You
and
dink around.
Yeah, what would end up happening it was start facilitating fun where there would be a group of
fun
people
is contagious.
that would start breaking loose doing whatever I was doing because I was like, I don't care. I don't care about your status. I don't care about your background. It's irrelevant to me. I'm just being me right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say fun is we're just going to give some examples of how to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like one thing I think is fun is like dancing. I'm a horrible dancer. I mean, I'm not horrible, but I'm not great. But dancing.
You are a horrible dancer. No, that's real.
But dancing can be fun.
Mm-hmm.
You just put on some music, but dancing is horrible if you're self-conscious.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So dancing can be fun. I think making messes can be fun. So when I went on this journey of having fun, I started doing like what would be fun as a kid.
Yeah.
So I did an 80-person food fight.
That was awesome. She did.
Mm-hmm.
That was 3 or 4 years into marriage when you did that.
Yeah.
3 years maybe into marriage, and had a group of people that you were teaching a class to, and you brought all 80.
I did it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it was a ton of work, but it was so worth it. And it was letting go of control. And I'll tell you, I remember a few of them hated it, but most of them loved it. And most of them said it broke them out of control.
Yeah.
It broke them out of being serious and having to be put together and having to have everything look good. And even like I would say messes. Like
just being messy.
Learning how to let go of control. Because sometimes things that make messes are fun. And so I remember your mom used to really care about cleaning, and now she keeps a very clean house, but now she doesn't feel bound by that anymore. And so a couple years ago we had Christmas and we'd ripped all the wrapping off presents and the dogs were going crazy,
tearing apart boxes.
They were
and
taking
everything.
the boxes and
there
the
was
wrapping
just mounds
paper and
of paper
around
and yeah,
and it was hysterical. We were all dying laughing and we were all like rolling around making angels in the wrapping paper. Like it was a complete mess. But if you don't let go of control to enjoy the mess, you'll miss some of the fun. And a lot of fun is messy.
Yep. And we're always trying to control how messy life gets, whether it's a practical mess or it's a heart mess or a life mess. But when we let go of trying to control the messiness, and part of the joy was not only going through it together, but then it was in cleaning it up together.
Yeah, we all cleaned up together.
And part of it, there's a bonding that happens in cleaning up the messiness of life.
Absolutely. And that's why I think people are like, I don't want to have to clean this up. So that's why I don't want the kids to make a
right.
mess.
You look at all the work and you perceive it as work as rather than a relational experience, which is something that you taught me.
Yeah.
Like I actually got that from you as you're like, why does it matter? Let's just make the mess and learn how to bond over cleaning the messes up.
Yeah. It was something that was really important to me. Also because I was messy, so it worked out in my favor. I'm like, this isn't hard. This is how I've lived my whole life. But we just watched an episode of This Is Us on this.
This is a perfect example,
where
actually.
the dad was like really going through, Jack was going through a lot of stuff in his mind. He'd just gone through something really hard. He was processing it. And two of the kids were in the living room making Valentines and they were getting glitter everywhere.
Yeah.
And he walked in and he was super frustrated. But you could see there was this moment of like choice. What am I going to choose? Am I going to choose into this moment or am I going to... And I think he actually got frustrated.
Yeah, initially got frustrated.
But then he like recognized, no, I'm missing this moment. And so he ends up going in there and he just starts a glitter fight.
Yep.
And they get glitter all over the living room. And then the mom comes home and the other brother and they are like, what is happening? Then they get glitter all over. And then the kids are joking about how for the rest of the time they were in that house, they were finding glitter places because glitter's like that.
Was it glitter or was something else? I can't remember what they were, but it was
sequins,
sequins.
Glitter,
Yeah, sequins,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But what was cool.
They enjoy every time they found one, it was a great memory.
Right. And they had written a memory inside of their heart that bonded them together, that reminded them why they loved each other. Now, years later, after so many things have happened, and they're having a conversation about that moment. And I think that life is about these types of moments, the serious moments where we love each other really well in the midst of tears, and the fun moments that tickle the deepest places inside of us.
Let go of control. I think another one that is so great from This Is Us is when they are trying to go to Thanksgiving and they're going to her mom's house. And what ends up happening is that their car breaks down and then they get stuck. And so they end up staying the night in this hotel that is messy and they only have this one movie to watch and there's like only vending store food. And so he gets, instead of getting like serious and so grumpy about how their Thanksgiving is ruined, the dad is like, no, this is the best. And he like tells stories and he makes it fun.
Yep.
And it ends up being so fun that then that becomes their Thanksgiving traditions.
Yep.
But what it took was him to get outside of the control of this is how I thought it should be.
Right.
This is what I wanted it to look like. This is what I put together. Like he let go of expectations.
Yep.
And he just embraced what the moment was. And that's why we're saying you have to be connected to the present for fun. Because if he was looking at what it should be or what they had been in the past or what he wanted it to be in the future, he would have missed out on right now. It's messy. And this is why I love fun helps the messes of life actually bond you instead of break you.
And how many events in our lives as adults, I mean, the people who are listening even right now, like how many events have we had in life where it's not going well and something's not specifically working out. Maybe it's a wedding and the cake just fell on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And now this messy moment has escalated to an even worse moment because we're so angry about being out of control rather than learning how to laugh and be like, this is crazy. The cake just dropped. This is going to be a story to tell forever.
Oh, yeah.
And what are we going to do? So to fix it, we made cupcakes. Crappy cupcakes so everyone could have cupcakes, but it could become something that's fun and talked about and memorable.
Yes.
And so a lot of people aren't actually living life because they're disconnected from fun because life has to look a certain way in their eyes.
And I think there's such a extreme where I think, especially in the gender. Now, this is very generalized. This is not a true statement, but in gender generalizations, I think what we sometimes have is men who don't know how to emotionally bond or connect. They only know how to have fun. And then women who want emotional connection and also are trying to run all these details in their house. And so they're serious and their husbands are fun and there actually becomes a war over it.
I think that's a good generalization.
Yeah. And that's not
obviously that's not true for everything, and there's a lot of differences
I
in
know
there.
a lot
But
of idiotic girls.
Yeah, as an overarching generalization, you do see that where women are like, "Oh, my husband's just a little boy, and why doesn't he get it together?" And so there's these two opposite ends of the spectrum.
And here's what I would say is I would love for, if this was a love language, what you would see is that whoever's the fun person in your relationship, it could be the guy or the girl, because I know it can go both ways. There's some really serious men married to fun women. But so whoever the serious one needs to actually see, maybe I'm with somebody who is meant to draw something out of me. Like I know for Justin, I could have chosen to get bitter or resentful or annoyed at his choices to be awkward, because he was. And it would be in the middle of like I remember going for a walk with him and he was like running. I was trying to tell him something serious and he was like running all over trying to catch lizards. Like every few minutes. He's like, wow, look at this lizard. I'm going to get it. And I'm like, I was just hearing this cheap thing. But instead of me seeing it as something that steals from me, I actually see it as something that adds to me.
Yeah.
I actually am like, no, I need fun in my life. I could lose sight of fun in the way that it's supposed to be a natural thing in my life day to day. I could lose sight of that if I didn't have you here. So even in the moments that it's not my favorite, I actually have a core value for it.
Yeah.
I actually believe this is good for me. And so if you're in relationships, even a friendship, your girlfriend is really fun and you're really serious. The goal is that you kind of meet in the middle. Yeah. That the really fun person learns how to give substance and learn how to be present. Because the truth is, you are a great listener.
Yep, I have tons of substance. I mean, I know I do. Yeah. I can actually have a good conversation, ask deep questions, listen really well, be mindful of the moment, be self-aware of what's needed, and I meet in those places. And then I'm like, hey,
meet you in fun.
We need to go over here and have some fun. And the truth is that, I mean, to be fair to you, there's certain forms of fun that I brought you into, and there's certain forms of fun that you brought me into.
Yeah, I like that.
And you taught me to let go of a lot of control in other areas. So we were balancing each other on both sides of that pendulum back and forth.
Yeah, that's
which
really
is very
true.
powerful.
Okay, so some of the ways, if you're like, I don't know how to invite more fun into my life.
Well, let me say this also. Yeah. Oh, you're going to talk about spontaneity?
Well,
Well, one of the things that I hear inside of relationships is it's not spontaneous. There's nothing spontaneous here, which is a way of saying there's not fun.
Yeah.
I like the idea of spontaneity, which means something that interrupts our normal, the rules, how we're so steadfast and controlled about life, and it takes us off kilter.
Yeah.
And in a good way, not like you set the house on fire and destroyed everything on us, but we actually purposely want to break out of our norms.
Yeah, I remember when we were dating, I'd had a really hard day and we had to go to the grocery store. We were having a dinner party. Our house, all my roommates were having a dinner thing.
Yeah, at your lady's house.
With me. And so we went to the grocery store to get it and I was just super frustrated and super serious. And you just start dancing to the song in the grocery store and you start spinning me and twirling me. And honestly, when you're grumpy or sad, you really have to choose. Because fun is irritating in those moments.
Totally.
So I had to choose, like, am I going to be annoyed and shut him down? Or am I going to see, like, I actually need a buoy. I actually need a lift. And so I remember you're dancing around and you start spinning me and twirling me. And I start laughing. Partly I'm just laughing at how ridiculous you look. And partly I'm laughing because I'm starting to enjoy it. But by the end of the experience, I was in a completely different mood. Yeah. And that's not a hard thing, like spontaneous. You don't have to like spontaneous plan a whole day away adventure.
No, and a lot of people, when they hear spontaneous, they think of some epic thing that has to happen. But it can be literally one moment where you interrupt the heaviness of it.
Yeah.
You know what's beautiful is my dad on one end, some of the best how do I put this? On one hand, my dad didn't take things that needed to be seriously. Like there were conversations like I'm needing to tell you something and you're just goofing off.
Yes.
And so sometimes there wasn't
a balance. Fun can hurt you.
It wasn't a balance in that. But that was one of the best gifts that I got is my dad would just all of a sudden make weird faces and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. He would, anytime he saw an animal on the side of the road, he would like jerk the car over, pull over, and try to run and catch it.
Yeah, if it was like an animal that he could actually catch by running after it.
He's like, there's a little deer. I'm going to go try to catch it.
Yeah,
there's a turkey.
Bring it back for us to pet or something.
Yes, totally. So there's that playful side. And I think sometimes what happens is fun people hurt us like where your dad couldn't hear your heart in serious
Right.
moments. He was using fun in an unhealthy way to deflect.
In moments, yeah.
And so we can actually shut down from
And we can
fun.
decide that fun is a thing that steals from us and neglects us.
Yeah. And I would call that much more immaturity than fun.
Yeah.
Like the areas where he couldn't be serious, he was using fun to deflect, not to engage.
Right.
And so fun can either disconnect you from people where you are not inviting them into it, or it can be an invitation that invites more connection.
Right. But so you have to really find out, what does fun mean to me?
Yeah.
What
So
does fun look
here's
like?
a couple options. I said dancing is one of them. I think like doing fake accents. I know it's like hysterical, but that's like a fun thing. It gets you out of your normal. In fact, I have a clients that are marriage counseling with me, and she wants to be complimented more. And so I said, you've got to do it in a fun way. You can't be like, you need to compliment me more, because it doesn't feel good to him, because he feels like he's failing. And so we're working on all this stuff. But so I said, find a cute way to ask him for a compliment. So, I mean, I do that because I love you. I'm like, hey, don't I look so good today? Aren't I the hottest? Look at me. I'm the best. I'm the best wife.
Aren't I
you
sexy?
so lucky that you married me? But I like to do it in a playful way, not in an abrasive way. And so they came back to me and she goes, whenever I want his attention, I just say it in an English accent, which I can't do English accents. So it'd be like, don't I look cute today? Or I can't do English accents. But
that's better than some of your really horrible accents you've done, which always makes me laugh when you do accents, because they are
they're
terrible.
Ridiculous. Yeah. So fake accents, I think
hobbies.
Yeah.
Just having hobbies that delight your heart.
Yes. I love playing volleyball. I love being out in the sun. I love going for hikes. I love, like, what are some of your hobbies? You like creating toys.
Yeah, creating action figures, dioramas. I like getting outside too and running around with people.
Yeah. We like watching movies with groups of people. I
like playing cards, games.
Like we like playing cards, like actually like card games, but we also like playing group games.
Yeah.
We think that's really fun. I think that one of the fun things is like physical fun. So I love wrestling.
Like I'll come over and grab you and start shaking you and tickling you or something.
Me, or like you'll jump on my lap, or I will come and I'll run at you and tackle you, or jump on you on the couch, or like, to me, and physical touch is my love language, but physical touch fun has always been a way that I connect to people.
One of the things that I've learned how to do is that when someone is trying to facilitate fun in my environment, I try to recognize it and break out of the monotony of whatever I'm doing. So I could be in the middle of writing a bunch of emails and Abby jumps on me and starts going blah, 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 blah.
Oh, it's so
and
true.
me letting go of the goal or the intention that I'm having right in front of me and being like, this is a moment of fun.
I'm going to take a
pause.
I can get back to
I can come back in 2 minutes. It's not the end of the world to just play and engage this. And that's something that I had to learn to do. So a lot of you are going to have to learn how to there may be kids that you have around you that are being fun, a boyfriend, a girlfriend that might be having fun, a friend that's always trying to have fun, and you're always being annoyed by it. And instead of like being annoyed, you need to go, oh,
maybe I need to take this invitation.
maybe I need to let go of my offense towards fun and look at how much I'm sucking at life when I'm just annoyed at everything.
Well, I mean, and honestly, you can think like, oh, I could have fun with them for 2 minutes and then come back to this serious
Totally.
thing. That's normally what I do, because I'll be working and I'll be so focused, and you'll come up and you'll be like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, and you'll get in my face and you'll like run around. And that's actually one of the number one things people like about us is how playful we are, because I think there's something in every human soul that is wishing to return to childlike
dying
wonder.
To go back to the childlike
And you can
wonder.
actually do that even if it's just small moments. So I will choose out and enjoy the invitation. It could be 5 minutes and then come back.
But in order to do this, all of this, you're going to have to, let go of what people think.
Oh yeah. We were, the other day we were in the airport, and there was a song on that you loved, and so you started dancing so crazy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we were there. We were on that what's that thing that moves?
Escalator kind of thing.
It's like a moving walkway.
Moving
walkway, and I was doing crazy dances and doing
and
hops
all
across
over the place,
it,
and everybody was watching you. And I joined in, but it was funny because
we were lost in our own world.
Yeah,
at least I was.
Yeah, you were. It was the first time in my life, because I don't normally think, what do people think about me? Because I was such a hot mess as a kid.
Yeah.
The thought, what do people think of me, isn't an option. I'm like, I had an eye patch. I had everything wrong with me. It was like, you're going to look at me. So it doesn't really matter. But for the first time I had this feeling of like, I felt like a little embarrassed, like what is happening? And then as soon as that happened, I was like, this isn't me. Like, I don't really think this way. I don't know what's happening. And so I purposefully just engaged in doing it again. But I think that lots of people have that invitation. Yep. What do people think? Oh no, what if people think we're awkward? Yep. Lots of people have so many social rules in their mind that they would rather obey invisible social rules than have fun.
And that's something that, you know, I hope that as people are listening, they're thinking, what are the invisible social rules that are governing my life that are keeping me from having fun?
Yeah.
When it's out and about, when it's inside the context of family, friends, like what is it that keeps me from being unhinged?
I don't think we want to invite people to be unhinged. I don't like that word.
I like the word unhinged.
That sounds crazy.
Well, get unhinged.
Could we just say free?
Okay, unhinged. Sure, got it.
Unhinged sounds like you're losing your mind or you're having a nervous breakdown.
I like the word unhinged.
Okay. You be unhinged.
I'm going to be unhinged and you be free. Yeah. That's how we'll do that.
So if you're wanting to go on a journey of this, one of the things I would work on is accepting yourself and receiving love and acceptance from other people, and maybe even tell some people, like tell your spouse or your best friend or whoever, hey, I want to go on the journey of fun. And maybe somebody around you is really sarcastic and really demeaning and you're scared to be you. Maybe you could ask them like, hey, I'm trying to learn this skill. Do you think for the next few months you could lay off the sarcasm so that I can try to learn how to express myself?
Yeah.
Also, if you don't have friends that you feel safe enough, you might want to look at that.
Yeah. And so I think that if you're in a relationship, you should ask questions of each other. Are we having fun? Do we feel like we're having fun? What would fun look like to us?
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't having to take an entire trip to Hawaii in order to have that fun. But what would fun look like on a day-to-day, moment-by-moment basis?
Sometimes we go for a drive.
Yeah.
Sometimes we turn on fun music. Like there's so many ways to incorporate little ways of fun in life.
So what could fun look like? That's a big question or homework that you guys can do walking away from this. And you could ask like people around you in your close proximity, am I fun? Do you experience me as fun? How often do you experience me as fun?
It's a dangerous question.
Yeah, it is. It's an honest question. It could get answered very honestly, and it could cause you to either go into shame or you could choose out of shame and go, all right, well, if most people are being like, you're pretty serious most of the time, they'll usually say it like that. You're pretty serious. They won't say, no, you're not fun, because they're scared of like busting your bubble. But then you could ask like, okay, they're experiencing me as serious. What would it look like for me to be fun in the way that I interact? Yeah.
And something you can do too is even like purposefully invite your imagination and your wonder back. Like looking for like, why did I shut this down? Did I make vows as a kid? Was there a reason that I decided I have to grow up now? And even like, you know, Justin wrote his book, The Tree of Life, and I'm actually not trying to plug it, but the whole book is about learning. It's basically the whole book was an allegory of you learning how to get your childlike wonder back from how it had gotten lost.
Yep.
And there's movies that you can watch. I think some of the kids' movies, there's movies that are just happy and full of life. Even I think The Kid by Disney is a great movie.
Yeah, great allegory to talk about that. And then, for me, I watch cartoons, and I know other people are going to be like, that's crazy, but I literally watch different cartoons just to keep me just being lighthearted and free, because I'm tired of looking at Facebook feeds that are filled with political conversations where people are being aggressive about stuff. And I'm tired of a high level drama shows. I'm not even saying they're bad. I'm just like, half those I don't even watch anymore, because I'm like, I can't do drama anymore. I just want to be fun.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because some people don't know how to be fun and they watch all serious shows. And I'm like, that is not going to help you.
Yeah. You know,
Like, be inputting some good stuff.
Here's a simple piece of
Bob's
homework.
Burgers is a great place to start.
That's a great
If you
fun
want a show,
cartoon
because
show.
the mom has so much imagination and childlike wonder, and the kids have so much fun, that is a great show. If you need a show to like purposefully go and learn to engage fun, it's witty and hysterical and happy and has good family core values.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a piece of homework that I want you guys to do. If when we're talking, you realize I'm not really connected to fun or spontaneity, it's not my normal, I'm pretty monotone in life. The next time you're in public and you hear like a rock song or a pop song that's really playful, I want you to break out dancing wherever you're at. If you're at the cash register in Target, if you're in line at Chipotle, or you're in McDonald's, or you're at the mall walking around and you hear it and you hear a fun song, the next time you hear a fun song and it just terrifies you to break out dancing, that's when I want you to break out dancing.
Yes.
And I'm not saying just for 1 second. I'm saying a good solid minute.
Yep.
Where you're just dancing, losing yourself in the moment.
Yes.
Your kids are like, Dad, stop it. You're freaking us out. You're embarrassing us.
Absolutely. Don't
Your
follow the
husband's
rules.
trying to veer away from you because you're so embarrassing to him. I don't care what it is.
Yes.
Just do it.
Absolutely.
And I want you to
love that.
laugh at yourself.
Yes.
Do something like that to interrupt life.
And the other thing I would do for homework is I'd practice laughing at yourself. When you make a mistake, when you make a fumble. This is actually in my family. My grandma, when she was losing her hearing, when she would find out what, like one time she got angry at me. I was like, I'm going to the beach, and she got so pissed. And I was like, why are you upset? And she's like, it's 9 a.m. Why are you taking a nap? And I was like, what? I was like, Grandma, I said I'm going to the beach. And she like caught that she heard it wrong, which I don't know how she heard nap.
How she got
from
nap
beach.
out of beach?
No, I don't know. But she just died laughing. And I loved the playfulness that she had. So find one way to kind of like giggle or think something you did was endearing and label it endearing and delightful instead of stupid or why haven't I figured this out yet? The other homework I have is if you use fun all the time, to check in with the people around you and to ask them what are some ways that they would love to see you grow in the other things. Like maybe you need to grow in learning how to listen. Maybe you need to grow in facing your pain. Because if you leave fun unchecked, it actually ends up stealing from you too.
Yep.
If you don't have depth, if you're not connecting to yourself, if you don't know what emotions are there besides fun, and this is a real thing. Some people only feel fun and they don't feel all the other emotions.
Yep.
And those people, actually, their fun is much more shallow. And I want them to be able to have full, abundant life, like living fully alive. And you can only live fully alive if you feel the joy and the other emotions. Inside Out is a great movie about that, how you can't just feel joy. You need the other ones. But so to kind of balance out, if you're the dorky husband who's always messing around, maybe figure out some ways to connect to your wife in other ways so that your fun can be an invitation and can be connection, not a wall.
That's great. So you've been listening to us here. If you got anything out of this, go ahead and rate and review us. Rate, review, subscribe and share.
Subscribe.
On
That's
iTunes.
What you want to do. Subscribe. You want to subscribe. I know you do. I know you do. I know you want to subscribe. I know you want to subscribe. That was me being fun.
That wasn't fun at all. I'm kidding.
You were looking at me like, what are you doing?
What is happening? This is not the time. I'm being serious. No, I'm kidding. So you can do that. Write a review.
You can go to our websites, abbystumble.com, justinstumble.com. We're also on Instagram.
Abby Stumball, Justin Stumball, and go to Facebook on facebook.com/The Connected Life Podcast.
Yes, and we are going to be doing a singles online course and a marrieds online course.
Is our plans here in the future. So if you get onto our websites and you go ahead and sign up for more information, we'll send more information out as that comes down the...
Yep. Or you can email LFA, as in Living Fully Alive, LFA, at...
StumballConsulting.com.
.com.
So thanks for joining us. And I hope you had some fun.
I hope you have fun.